What's happening, guys? Welcome back to another video. Now this is a video that you guys have been requesting quite a lot. I put out an Instagram story yesterday requesting what video you would like to see next, and the most common answer was, how do you trade the Dow Jones? Now if you remember in my previous video, I did mention that I usually don't day trade the Dow Jones. I look for swing positions when there's big news coming out regarding anything to do with that particular indice. Now in this particular case, last night at the time that you're watching this, we had Joe Biden come out and announce the $1.9 trillion stimulus package. I actually went short on that news. Now I'm going to explain in a little bit more detail as to why I went short on that news. However, first things first, if you're new around here, drop us a like, comment and follow me on Instagram at LockstockTom. First things first, $1.9 trillion to be entered into the marketplace. Now that headline alone is massive, okay? Now this is why I explained previously about understanding the news and what it will mean for markets. Now, $1.9 trillion is absolutely huge. And as we know, with any stimulus package, we usually get a massive reaction regarding the Dow Jones. However, what some people don't grasp is when the news headline first initially comes out is when you will get your initial move, okay? Now, a lot of people I know were looking to go long based on that headline and the announcement last night. We have been aware of this stimulus package for days, if not weeks, and we knew roughly how much it was gonna be, okay? Now, $1.9 trillion is a lot of money. So what we've seen in the past week, however long, we've seen the Dow slowly increase gradually over time. It smashed through 30,000 very quickly, and we're now sitting up around just under 31,000. Well, now it's currently 30,700 because it's absolutely come off a cliff. So what you need to understand is when trading and when day trading, it's the shock and awe of the news headline, okay? The shock of the headline is what's going to move the markets. In this particular case, we knew days before when the first initial headline come out how much money was going to be injected. So on the day of the actual announcement, if the Dow Jones is not up 1,000 points, that should be an indicator to you that everyone's over the news. They kind of already know that and everything is already priced in, okay? And it's the old adage in trading, buy the rumor, sell the fact. Or buy on the rumor, sell on the news, okay? That's exactly what happens with trading. The initial shock and awe headline is what will move the market. Very similar to recently where I was short GBP USD cable when we had the back and forth headlines regarding Brexit. Boris Johnson come out and stated that we're no longer going to be able to do a deal and it's looking unlikely that we're going to have any deal done. Shorted the pound straight away because the market come off really quickly. And then what happened is the pound started to rally over those few days building up to the announcement. When the announcement come out, the pound didn't move. If anything, it started tickering down. It's because the news itself, the news headline is what will move the market, not the announcement. Because by the time the announcement's made, everybody's already aware of it and the news is no longer surprising to the markets and it's priced in. Okay, so let's actually have a look at the headline that I'm referring to. The slip after Biden announced his $1.9 trillion stimulus plan. It seems very backwards, doesn't it, when you think about it? Why on earth would the stock market come off when you're announcing such a large stimulus plan? If I scroll down here, equity markets lost ground on Friday as investors digested the early detail of Joe Biden's economic rescue plan, in which US President-elect pledged an additional $1.9 trillion. What you need to understand, okay, this is really important. I'm not going to get into US politics and everything else, but US Democrats are massive on raising taxes and corporation taxes and everything else, okay? And I think he actually mentioned this last night in the speech, which was the trigger for the sell-off, okay? When you have a Democratic Party in power and they're very big on raising taxes for corporations and everything else, the Dow Jones is made up of corporations. So if their taxes are going to go up, it's not good news for the stock market. Does that make sense? And let me just go back to the computer now. Okay, so I've just clicked on the headline, funny enough, that I was looking at as I was recording this video. And it literally says, sell the fact, hits with US equities slated for a decline. Okay, so it's literally done what I said it was going to do. Everyone was expecting that. They knew what was coming, and they also know that with a Democratic Party comes higher taxes, lowers your income, not enough money is generated, the market has to come down. Does that make sense? So on the back of this news, I actually shorted the Dow Jones. So we're gonna have a quick look at this position now, and I'm gonna tell you exactly why I shorted it, okay? Okay, so if we're just looking at the trade now, as you can see up here, where I'm circling, that's where my entry was. That was last night at 11 o'clock. That was before he announced it, okay? The reason why is because if you look next to it, we've got 3 big red candles down. That is not the reaction you'd expect when you're just about to announce a $1.9 trillion stimulus bill. That for me is an indication that people are over it and it's priced in and it's primed for a short, okay? And as you can see, since then, it's pretty much just come back down, pulled back a little bit, come back down even further. Now we've had a bit of a big bounce off 30,600. However, I'm not that concerned. As you can see, if I click here, I've locked in £3,000, okay? Now, considering I only placed that trade last night, for me, £3,000 overnight is great days trading. I'll be looking to hold this. If it stops me out, it stops me out. But what you've got to realise is that we're changing presidents now, okay? And in terms of presidents and how Trump's performed and everything else, I believe he's the best performing in terms of statistics and growth for the country there's been in a long time, okay? Now, whether or not Biden's going to be able to sustain that and keep that up is up for question. I personally don't think he will. And what people need to realise now is that we're going through a change in a cycle. So the stocks that weren't performing great under Trump may do very well under Biden and vice versa, okay? So as you can see, it's a pretty simple trade. Before he even opened his mouth, I was short. And the second he started to open his mouth at midnight, UK time, it's just come off ever since, okay? Would have been nice to take the profit down here. However, as I said, I'm looking to run this position because I don't know how low this wants to go, but I will just keep banking profits along the way. All right, guys, so I hope that helps. It really is important understanding news, okay? News for me is the biggest determinator, okay? And if the news isn't big enough, I won't enter the trade for a swing position, all right? So I do hope this helps and explains to you a little bit why and my method behind my method when entering swing positions on the Dow Jones. As I said, I don't trade it a lot, but when I do, I look to try and run it and get at least 300, 400, 500 points out of it, sometimes even more, depending on how important the news is, okay? If you're not already, follow me on Instagram, it's LockStockTom. A lot of content I put out there on a daily basis, confirmation in my group chat, everything else. And guys, I'm going to love and leave you all. Have a lovely day. I'll see you all soon.